make you do that over again because it's been a minute. We'll find out. So we have a lot of people that can't make it on a Tuesday afternoon, so we decided to try to do a live stream and bring more people in, right? That's what we're playing with over here. All right, so you're here for neuropathy reversal, right? Okay, awesome. So, common thing we see, Shayna, before I was in pain, 2 treatments down, I had some balance, and most of the pain on my right side is gone, and my left side is improving. Pretty cool. So, let's see here. Yeah, reversing without drugs or surgery is what we're talking about today. Who's thinking, yeah, right? Good. Yeah, I was skeptical too. I really was. About me, my family, my amazing wife, we have 6 kiddos, a couple of dogs, a couple of cats, some fish. My son is a snake. It's a crazy little menagerie we got going on.
Why do you don't have a boy?
Huge.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Snake back here.
That's right. Yeah, that happens.
I know.
That's yeah. I'm a local guy who was born at Holy Spirit Hospital, went to school, and came back. It's my short story, right? Where are you guys from?
Harrisburg.
Harrisburg. Awesome.
Harrisburg down from Kentucky.
Kentucky
Born
originally.
in West Virginia.
Okay. Good.
Northern New Jersey originally, but
Okay.
here since '81.
Okay. Great.
Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Been here since 2008.
All right.
In this little town.
Yes.
Very true.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially compared to Brooklyn. And what's crazy is when we went to China to adopt our youngest, right? There's a miniature village of 30 million people that you've never heard of. I was like, wait a minute, New York's got 8 million. This isn't like insane. Just the number of people that it's unreal. But yeah, Harrisburg's miniature compared to all that.
Well, I had my nails done in DC.
Yeah.
And so the Korean lady, she said, oh, I was in Harrisburg for a wedding. The little town. So I thought I would adopt that.
Yeah.
That saying, because it is.
That's yeah, with the hand. That's
You
all
go
part
from
of it.
one side of Harrisburg to the other in about 10 minutes.
That's right. Yeah. Let me introduce the crew for you here. We got Kayla and Alex, and you probably talked to one of them here today.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's Kayla.
Okay, well,
Alex,
I'm Alex.
Dr. Williams, Dr. Strickland,
doctor.
and Ben. He's our office manager,
Oh, okay.
and making sure we're doing our jobs, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And Autumn is also part of our rehab team, and she's not here. She's doing other things today, so thanks for being here. What are some things that you love to do or have had to give up because of neuropathy?
Can you
I haven't.
define neuropathy first?
Yes. Great question.
Because I might be in the wrong
You might
place.
not, and that's okay because we really, that's actually one of our first slides, the definition of it. So we'll jump there and then come back. But maybe we'll hold your answer what the other people will contribute. So what have you had, what's been limited? Or what do you enjoy doing that's been a challenge now, regardless of whatever it's called that you have?
Sometimes walking distances.
Okay, yeah, walking is a basic thing, and it's like,
We like to travel, and walking on cobblestones can be a bit of a trial.
yeah, the balance is a needed thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I like to usually have a big garden.
Okay.
And most of the trimming, and then just do all the mowing
Mm-hmm.
and so on. Can't now.
Right. Sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking and sleep,
yeah.
right?
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a
gardening.
really good one.
Yeah. So sleep is bothering you. Okay. Yeah. So those are, I mean, that's like kind of basic human stuff, and that's what we need to be able to do. That's, yeah. So that kind of leads to why are you here? Is it as simple like I just need to function again? Or is there like, if I don't sleep well, I don't feel well, and I don't have the energy I need to put with my kids and grandkids? Like, what does sleep deprivation do for you? What is not being able to not being able to walk to, like, how does that hinder your relationships and those things that are vitally important to you? So those are things to be thinking through along the way here, okay? So, my joke for the day. Why do the patients stop seeing the neurologist?
Because he couldn't do anything.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not a funny answer, but it's a very, very true answer, right? Yeah. You ready for that joke? They got on their nerves. Right, you told you, it's a bad joke. But you're right, to the point is, like, now they're just tickling your feet and going, can you feel that?
Neuropathy.
You got, yeah. Right? You've experienced that before, anybody else? Like, that's all they got now. Yeah. So, definition. Very simple, it's damage to the peripheral nerve system. So the central is brain and spinal cord. Everything else is peripheral, which can include face, your organs, autonomic neuropathies. It could be in one limb, it could be like the sciatic issue. It could be in one arm, it could be in both. So all four, it doesn't really matter. That's the definition, is damage to the peripheral nerve system. Okay, does that help? It's pretty broad, right? It's like, yeah, it's a general term.
Well, how about when you have different places, it's bothering you at this time, and then it'll switch to some other.
It moves around. You can have a movable one too. Yep. Yeah, and we'll talk more detail on, like, what are those types and what do they do and how do you get them and what's the common denominator with all of them, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. Yep. So 20 million people are suffering with this. It's a lot. 1 in 6 people over age 45 are dealing with this in the US. How do you get this? Is it contagious? Is it like,
Genetic.
right? It can be genetic. That's one of the reasons. Yeah, and in your case, it's genetic. Yeah,
Is it associated with diabetes?
absolutely. That's the number one, is blood sugar problems. Yep. Yeah, we'll talk more detail about that in a minute. So, what are the traditional options they give you? What are the treatment options?
Gabapentin.
Gabapentin. Yep, that's like number one.
I think I was misdiagnosed.
Also very true.
Yeah, because they said I had carpal tunnel, and it's not that. I know that.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a super common misdiagnosis.
And they want me to get surgery, so.
Of course they do.
That's
Which is a
amazing.
flippable coin. Honestly, the stats are a flippable coin on that. So yeah, that's something so keep the concepts in mind. We're going to talk about feet, but they all apply to the neck and the hand as well. So we'll just keep that in mind. Yeah, great point. Misdiagnosis is a major one. Yeah. So, yeah, medication you mentioned. What are the other options it would give you for treatments? Surgery you mentioned.
Support shoes.
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 Yep. What else?
Is those the ads for the shoes, like from the Good Feet store? Is that true, or is that just another moneymaker?
Probably a bit of both, depending on the scenario, like what's causing it, right? Is it going to reverse it? Can shoes fix the problem?
They can help the pain.
It might help the pain. Yeah, it might help you move around and live long. Like, that's quality of life. That's a good investment, right?
Yeah.
Can it reverse the problem? No, at best it supports it. And that's the main thing with any of those treatment options is it's a Band-Aid. There's value in that, and you might need that to be comfortable and do things around the house and, live life, but they can't actually reverse. None of them are designed to reverse the problem. And that's why you're here, right? So,
So
yeah,
is it reversible?
in a lot of cases, yes. Not every case, but a lot of them are. Yeah. So drugs and worst case scenario, especially with diabetes, then you're in a higher risk category for amputations. And you need to be aware of that. I'm not a doomsayer, but I've seen too many of these I don't want to see anymore. Okay, so that's where this can end up if you lose feeling, whether it's hands or foot, and I had a guy the other day said he bit into a sandwich and he didn't feel his finger, and all of a sudden there was blood everywhere. He literally bit his thumb taking a bite of a sandwich. So that's, that can get infected, and then Remember that goes. So it's never the original injury that causes it, but that's where you can get infected and go downhill from there. You feel it. So bottom line is in symptom management, right? So who's tired of being just managing symptoms? Right? Tired of that? Let's get it fixed. Yeah. So medical error is the number 3 cause of death in the U.S., and that's from 2013. And that's if the CDC counted that. And they don't. So enough about that stuff. It's about your quality of life. And this is my summer trip to the Finger Lakes. We did our anniversary trip there last summer. And I saw the flight of steps and I thought, my patients would hate to try this thing. But they miss everything on the other side. And it was really like one of those, they just continued to compel me to do this kind of work. So yeah, you stop living, traveling, and having fun and doing the normal good things in life. So there has to be a better way than symptom management, right? So let's talk about that. What's the better way? Here's what we're seeing. I can't promise you anything because this is healthcare, right? And it's also illegal. We don't do that. So what we do see is very commonly the cases we can accept, we're seeing 90+% success rate in those cases. What does success look like? 50 to 100% improvement is what we consider success. Would that work for you if you have 50 to 100% better? Yeah? Great. So that's what that is. Now, part of my job is to give you some hope today. Because one thing I've seen over the years is you lose hope and you get some really dark days. You're like, what is going on? There's a lot of fear that creeps in, and so there's real people with getting real results. So this time we're miserable, experiencing a lot of pain in our legs. Walking was a challenge, right? Pain in the feet. They thought it was due to arching. They tried all this stuff. Thought it was plantar fasciitis. And now Jimmy's walking again. He got his painting job back. It literally turned his life around. When he showed up, he was riding the back of a car, like, on the floorboard, because he couldn't sit there so bad. So he had a couple things going on. He had a gut problem, he had a back problem, he had a foot problem. Or neuropathy, so we work on all those things to get better. Rick said to the sleep issue, it's driving me crazy. My feet felt like they were ice cold all the time. Waking up 5 or 6 times a night. And now I'm sleeping through the night and no longer have to get up. My neuropathy is 75% better. And Rick's why was he had a son with special needs and needed a dad to be able to do and take care of him. So he's like, I gotta do this better. So Rick is amazing. Sandy saw a lot of progress. When I came in, I was in pretty bad shape. I couldn't walk. And I experienced a lot of pain in my legs. Now my right leg is pain free. My left leg is feeling better. The treatment is helping. It's been worth every penny. So it wasn't always like that, though. Betty was one of my first patients in practice. And originally she came with a back problem. We got her back, it worked out pretty well, got her better pretty quick. And then here's my office in Lancaster. That's why the location looks different. And the time between these two is 6 years. So when she came in originally, she said we got her back better, and then she said, Doc, I've got neuropathy going on in my feet, and can you help me with that? And I said, well, I don't know. I learned some things in school. Let's try a couple things. So we put together a plan for her, and she went through the plan, and guess what happened?
That didn't work.
Didn't work at all. We failed. Full right on her face. Nothing happened. So we went back to the drawing board, right? Changed up the plan. Treat her again. Guess what happened then? It got worse. Actually, it didn't get any better. And then we found the program we're using now. And I'll tell you the difference between those things as we go along, but this is, I'll let her tell her story, but hers was genetic as well. And you'll see that process in this video. Now, she's going to mention some numbers. I want you to pay attention to those because that's their point of no return. The nerve can die to the point where there's so much damage it cannot recover. Similar to like a plant, right? If it's out in the heat like this all day long, you can water and change the soil, but it's just toast, right? Same thing. If that nerve is too far gone, you can't bring it back no matter what you do. So as you mentioned numbers, an 85% loss is that cutoff point for most people. So this is what you're going to hear in the video here. All right.
Okay.
So I'm here with Betty, and she's been, how long have you been in the Neuropathy Program now?
Over 2 months.
About 2 months. And you started and you were pretty high percentages from
Yes, if I'm correct, I'm 88% loss.
88%, right?
In the right and 78 on the left.
Yeah, and we weren't really sure, like, I don't know if this is going to help initially.
Yes.
So tell me, what were you experiencing when you first came in with neuropathy symptoms?
Yeah, extremely restless at night,
Mhm.
and my toes area especially hurt. It was an unusual. It was hard to define or describe the ache that's there. Sometimes it felt like my feet were freezing, and yet when I touched them, they weren't cold.
Right, that sensation of the freezing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, what's been your experience since you knew to start the program?
Well, I don't experience the restlessness or the pain.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and that's only with 2 months, and I have time to go yet, so I'm very delighted.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this turns out for you, because I know when we looked at your last set of numbers, you're doing, I think only, well, it was less than 40%.
It's 31,
It's 31 on the one side and
31 on the other.
on the other. Oh, is he?
Yes.
See, you know
Yes.
better than I do. That's great.
That's
So
what
that's a huge change from, 80s.
it is.
That's wonderful.
And I'm so grateful. But the thing that really blesses my heart is my older sister is numb from her knees down,
Mhm.
and now from her hands to her elbows.
Mhm.
And I was hoping I could avoid that, and
Sure.
with God's help and your help, I'm doing that.
Yeah, we're really thankful to be a part of that, and
Yes.
that we get to be a part of your story with that. Betty. Thanks
Yes.
so much for sharing that. Do I have your permission to share this with other people, other patients, other students, other doctors?
Sure.
Any
Yes,
conditions
indeed.
on sharing that?
No, sir.
Okay,
No, sir.
thanks so much, Betty.
You're welcome.
All right. That makes sense. So she was at the basically point of no return and got better, a lot better. And then she went on to get full recovery. All of her sensory came back. And her sister did not live near us or anyone of her colleagues that are doing this work, and so she's literally in a wheelchair today. And it's like, can't help everybody.
What
And then-
happened?
Her sister's in a wheelchair.
Oh, her sister.
Yeah, her sister
Oh,
is, because she wasn't able to get help.
Oh, okay.
But Betty, because it's genetic, we wanted to help her and support her, just so we couldn't get help for her sister, and he wasn't anywhere near myself or her colleagues. This was from February a year ago. So and then again, 6 years between the two. It's only, this is what, about a 6 or so year follow-up.
Yeah.
So tell me what your symptoms are now for the neuropathy.
Well, it's good unless I eat sweets.
Okay?
Then I have misery in my feet.
Gotcha.
Big time.
But otherwise, you don't really need your equipment right now, and you're not really using that as part of your care plan anymore.
Correct.
You just stay on the diet more.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And that's fantastic long-term results and so far, especially because your sister was in bad shape,
Yes.
and we've avoided that. Thank God for that.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. What you do as well. Bless you.
Thank you. She's non-diabetic, and sugar still makes her worse. I checked you with her earlier this month, and she's like, I'm still doing fine, and I don't use my equipment anymore, and as long as I stay on my sugar, I'm doing great. That's like, but now she's playing with grandkids and doing all those things that you want to be able to do, and I love that. So, long-term results, right? That's what we want. Why can we get long-term results? and not manage your symptoms.
You gotta be doing something with those nerves.
Healing the nerve. It's like if you have a bone that breaks, right? Does the cast fix it? No, your body knows how to heal. It just needs not to be messed with. So we remove the interference in the healing process. The body can do its own work and heal itself. When you're cut and you heal up, you need to keep treating the cut. It's healed. It's done. Same idea. So today, I want you to understand the root cause of your neuropathy symptoms. And then show you the four-pronged approach. We're going to show you everything we do. And then hopefully you're getting some hope back already. And I'd like to give somebody an opportunity to get better today. Is that a good plan? All right. So everybody put your hand up like this for me. This is your nerve cell. Same at home. Your nerve cell right here. There it is. And then the fingers represent your blood flow. Okay? So now make a fist as tightly as you can and squeeze that for about 10 minutes. What are you going to feel? Tired. What else?
Sometimes they don't straighten out.
So you have stiffness or immobility. Right. What else?
Tension.
When you're relaxing?
When you relax.
Yeah, but if it's there for a long time, what are you going to feel?
Tension.
Tension. Maybe pain. Maybe numbness after a while. In other words, the symptoms of neuropathy. Does that make sense? You can relax. Yeah. But that's what's going on is you're choking off the blood supply to the nerve cell. You're suffocating the nerve and you're choking off its nutrient supply. It's going to scream at you. Does it make sense? That's what causes neuropathy. So what causes this is a better question. And the list is literally 100 different reasons why, the single-spaced, double-sided ream of paper, what causes this. Common ones are mentioned already, sugar problems. Chemotherapy is another one. So toxicity, whether that's drug-induced or from the environment. We mentioned Lyme disease, we mentioned the immune system can do this. Genetics can do this. So there's a lot of different reasons why this happens. But at the end of the day, if you can get this restored, what happens?
You feel better.
Yeah, you start healing. Okay? So again, this causes your symptoms. Burning, tingling, numbness, weakness, and so on. Right? But underlying that, and that's what medications cover, that's what insurance will cover, is managing your symptoms. Underlying it, though, is the root cause, and if you don't treat the roots of the plant, how well does that work? You have the idea with that. So we have to work on gut health. That's where your immune system lives. More than half your immune system is around the gut lining. Okay? Macronutrients, that's your carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And most people in the U.S. are doing too much in the carbohydrate arena. Sugar is too much. Too much sugar kills nerves. Okay? Micronutrients would be like vitamin D, vitamin B12, magnesium. These are like the actual micronutrients that actually allow the nerve to do its job and heal. B1 is another major one. So B vitamins, and some of that can be genetic. In other words, if you don't methylate properly, you can have B12 and folic acid problems, and then it damages nerves. Where you can't detoxify effectively, and then you build up poisons that kill the nerve. So does that make sense? It's the micronutrients.
Is this in the notes here?
Not all of it is. Yeah, you're like, that's why we gave you some pen and paper there, and yeah, take some notes. Or take a picture if you want to get a, yeah. And then oxygen deprivation is another one, right? Which can be associated with a sedentary lifestyle. If you're not moving, you're not enhancing blood flow, and you can't get oxygen into your tissues, right? So those are other core elements. And then neurological weaknesses or underlying genetic conditions is another element with root causes. Okay? Any questions on clarification for some of those, or?
Yeah.
Probably a million questions, right?
You said something about sugar does what?
Sugar kills the nerve.
Sugar kills the nerve.
Yeah, let's talk about that while we're on it. What else would be foods that kill a nerve?
Carbohydrates.
Yep, carbs, like simple carbs, right? Breads, cakes, cookies, pastas, all that stuff will be turned right into sugar and then kill the nerves or make them more damage. Yes. Alcohol, yes, definitely. Yep.
Drugs.
Yeah, certain drugs will kill them. Definitely chemotherapy. Statin drugs are known, certain ones are known to, in susceptible people, will cause neuropathy symptoms. So you may be over-medicated on statins, and that can cause neuropathy symptoms. Another medication would be Cipro, which is used for, and it's an antibiotic. You use it in, commonly in bladder infections, things like this. And some people get neuropathy from that. So we've seen all those different kind of cases. Yeah. Good question. So back into the blood flow story. Secret number 1 is restoring oxygen and making new blood vessels. That's what angiogenesis means, making new blood vessels. So this was in June of 23. Red and white are the only 2 acceptable colors in the office. So what do you see with color in the feet here? Right? That means there's no blood flow. It's getting cold in the feet. You see the hands and the torso are fine. Legs and feet are starting to fail. What do you see now? This is July 18th of the same year. About 6 weeks later. What do you see now? Yeah, we're actually restoring blood flow to the tissues. The body's making new blood vessels. So who's this for? Well, you like your quality of life, right? So people literally have given up. And we're not a good fit for them. Number 2, they want to be an active participant in their care. That means, and that's why we failed with Betty the first 2 times. She was compliant with her visits, but we weren't doing anything else at home. We were doing things for her in the office, which were marginally helpful for what we had back then, compared to what we now have. It's a night and day difference. I've learned a lot over the years. And that's why we didn't win with her, was because we weren't doing it day in and day out, and that's what you need to do to win. So there's active things that have to be done at home to really make headway on this. Does that make sense? I'll show you what that looks like too. So you tried everything else, and or you don't want what they have to offer. Okay. So drug, surgery, injections, and so on. And you've lost some hope over the years. And you're still suffering, this could be a very good option for you. So let's learn when nerves need to heal on their own. You have to reverse neuropathy by restoring the nerve function. Simple concept, and here's how that works. Number 1, we talked about oxygen and angiogenesis, right? Restoring the blood flow into circulation. Number 2 is revitalizing nerve foods and reducing inflammation. We talked about the foods that cause inflammation. So in other words, like, where do you shop and eat groceries, or where should we shop? Let's say it that way. On the outside. We all know this, but it's really hard to do sometimes, right? But if you're eating food the way God made it, it comes out of the ground, lean meats, fresh produce, those are really anti-inflammatory for the most part, right? If it comes in a package, it's got more than 1 ingredient in there. Now you're going to have more problems in terms of inflammation, and the body doesn't even recognize what some of these things are. And so it causes a big fire. And nerves don't like inflammation. Make sense? So we have to restore the that anti-inflammatory balance and get the flames put out. And then accelerating the nerve healing by reconnecting the nerves to the brain and normalizing the pathways. So those are the 3 ways that happens. So why am I even qualified to tell you this stuff? I've been doing this for 20 years now. And I've got some advanced certifications with the L.E.G.A.C.Y, that is the International College of Applied Kinesiology. That means there's doctors from every industrialized country in the world that are part of the college, and they give their insight, whether they're everything from dentists to MDs, DOs, chiropractors. If you have a license to diagnose, you can be involved in the college. And we get to see physiology in real time and see results in real time. That's the other fun part too. So brilliant docs in this college. I'm really glad to be a part of that. And then NET, so that's related to stress. It's called neuro-emotional technique. And we're, I think, probably the only clinic. There might be one other in Chicago that I'm aware of. Otherwise, we're the only ones using this stress relief technique to get amazing results. So what does that mean? When you're under stress, what happens to this? Better or worse? Right, worse. So whether that's a global pandemic or whether that's a personal part of your story that was like stressing you out, your nervous system responds by going fight or flight, survive. And if that pattern stays stuck in there and you don't resolve it, then every time something similar comes around, your body re-inflames and goes through that same stress physiology. So NET literally helps to reverse the physiology connected to PTSD, to these, whether it's a big or big P or little p stress, or big T, little t trauma, we'll say it that way, right? So they did MRIs in Philly at Jefferson, and this was a couple of years ago, and they showed pre and post brain MRIs that prove that the technique works, and no other technique has that kind of research behind it. It's pretty phenomenal. So that's a fun one. And then I got to teach anatomy and physiology for a while. Been doing this for over 7 years now. We've seen over 2,300 cases. And I've done countless seminars flying around the country figuring this stuff out. Which then means after hours, right? I got to take the time away from the family. It's caused me a lot in terms of time, money, resources, energy to put into figuring this out. And now I get to consult with other doctors with sort of difficult cases as well. So I never wanted to be standing here telling you this story. There's a smile going on.
No, it just reminds me, somebody says, I got this 3 simple steps to lose weight. Yeah. And then you're looking at the video for half an hour, and then all of a sudden you got to buy 6 bottles.
Oh, right.
Hundreds of dollars. I'm just like,
yeah. So we're going to show you, and what they don't do then is show you if it really works. Right? I'm going to show you in real time what we're doing and show you all of the stuff.
Okay.
Does that sound like a plan? Yeah, that's where we're going with this. But the bottom line is, I literally never wanted to do this. I'm going to show you the heart behind why we're doing this so that you get some more understanding. Okay? Yeah. Has anybody learned the hard way, School of Hard Knocks before?
Yeah.
So can I share that story with you? So my dad was a Vietnam veteran, fought 2 tours in Vietnam, and had Agent Orange exposure, which is a nerve poison. Yeah. Have anybody heard this story? Not yet. He was losing his balance. He's a tough guy, right? He was 101st Airborne and was a Ranger and he's a tough dude. And so he didn't really want to tell us how bad it was. He didn't want us to worry, and he could handle it. And our neighbor was having a litter of puppies. And so we went up and, he's got a heart of gold too. He's a really gentle guy down there, but he got the kennel to help the neighbor out. And he's coming down the steps. And he lost his balance. And he fell. And he broke his neck.
Oh my goodness.
And he was on the steps for an hour. Because he thought he was going to help the neighbor. And my mom called and she's like, hey, your dad's fell. We're going to the hospital. And it was kind of she was in shock, and so it didn't really convey it was a big deal. But you get that inner knower that's like, something bigger is going on here. So I grabbed my boys and drove down to the hospital. My wife and my girls were out at a circus actually, so having a good time. But and we got to the hospital and they're like, Doc, here's the films. We got them in traction. We're doing the best we can, but we got to go do emergency surgery and just the things you see in school that you never want to see in real life, let alone your own family members. And You know, the surgery was a success, but he was a C5 quad. You know, he could raise his elbows, but he couldn't. It was hard to feed himself. Spent months and months and months in Philly at a rehab hospital. And, you know, couldn't hug his kids and grandkids anymore. Like, completely changed our family. Back then, they were thinking about putting an addition on the house because they had a 2-story. And that was like 50 grand to put a basic ADA compliant bathroom in, like nothing fancy, just, you know, and that was 10 years ago. So I can't imagine what it is now. So we understand firsthand what this does for a family. And then he chose to live in an assisted living facility because he didn't want to put that burden, like, you know, whatever. So, I mean, all these other decisions that go into that. And so that's the heart that's behind this. Because when that happens, like, I got to figure this out. And that's why we came up with the solution we did for Betty. And that's what we're showing you today. So that's why we're here. That's why we exist, is to help people not live that experience. Because the reality is 1 in 3 people over age 65 that fall actually end up dying within a year. It's a big deal.
That's true.
So
I see this one. I am 65.
they're arguing back about who's up. But so like, but that's a big deal.
Just March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we ever seem pushy or like, you know, that's the heart behind it. I know that we can help you. We don't need to live that way. And so that's what we're coming from on all this. Make sense? So what I'd like to do now is show you all the toys and bells and whistles and show you behind the curtain. Is that all right? So here's what that looks like. We're going to bring some awareness to your balance. So let's see how that does now. It sounds like yours is a hand scenario. We're going to try to balance anyway because that's what we're playing with today. Okay? So let's just stand up. And I'll explain what we're doing here. Everybody gets to play along. If you're at home, stand up. Here's how you do this. You're going to put your, I'll explain it before we do it. Okay? So hands are going to go on the hips. And your feet are going to go as close together as you can. When I tell you, don't fall over yet. Okay? And then you're going to close your eyes. And our screening is for 10 seconds. But for your age bracket, you're going to do this in a healthy individual for about 30 seconds plus. All right? If you pass that one, the next one is hands on the hips with one knee up in front of you standing on your strongest leg. Again, eyes open, 10 seconds screening. And then it's, last one is the same thing, but with eyes closed. All right? So let's see how we do with this, and just kind of bring some awareness to where you're at with what's really going on in your body, okay? Because a lot of times what I've seen with neuropathy is you start to lose the feeling, and you don't realize what's really going on until you start checking some things out. So is that valuable today?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Here we go. So hands on the hips, feet together as close as you can. And then when you're ready, I'm going to time it here. If you feel like you're going to fall over, open your eyes and, you know, grab something or the person next to you, okay? And when I say go, we'll do 10 seconds screening. Ready? In 3, 2, 1, and close your eyes.
I'm all ready. I'm having some vertigo today. So
Okay, you don't push it then. That's 10 seconds. You can, you can open your eyes.
I knew that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, that's okay. You can open your eyes. Yeah. So how did that feel? You passed the test. The 3 of you passed the test. How did that feel? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 is I've got perfect balance. I can do that all day long, or at least for another 2 minutes. And 0 is I'm going to fall over, right? Like I better open my eyes.
I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. So where would you say you're at on that scale? What would you notice? You're fine? Yeah.
I was like a little wave here and there.
Okay, it's a little wobbly, but nothing
Just a little
scary or
wobbly.
whatever. Okay, yeah, so minor. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do it too bad.
Yours felt, yeah, we noticed that yours was a little more challenging. But we already done this screening for Brenda. She did our one-on-one experience today, so that was part of that when we were screening you on that one. So the next one is one knee up. So Elizabeth, you can bow out of this one. Let's say you do it with one knee up and eyes open. Okay, so hands on the hips, on your strongest leg.
I don't know which one's strong.
And in 3, 2, 1, one knee up. Yeah.
No.
It ain't sure.
It's not very strong.
And there's 10. Who passed that one? No, it's all, everybody failed on that one. Okay, so even though it's not in your feet per se, balance isn't what you want it to be yet.
I think I'll have better shoes though. Like,
That also could be a piece, right? Yeah, shoes could be a factor. Let's just skip the last one then, since you all failed that one. You have to see. Okay. Who thought their balance was better than they expected? Your balance was better than you thought. Okay, Elizabeth. Failed the first one.
No,
It's better than you thought.
I've had really bad problems today. In fact, I went into Rudders and the cashier said to me, I've been watching you.
Okay.
Because I had to hold on to something walking in for
Yeah.
5 seconds before. I'm just not.
Wow.
And
Others are noticing then too, huh?
this
Yeah.
is a multitude of issues.
Yeah. And that's the thing with neuropathy, because it's such a broad, issue. It's like even if you have diabetes that's causing it, it's still not just one thing, right? There's diet, so yeah, it's a multitude of things that cause it nerve problems. Sure. And question.
can it, like, diabetic neuropathy, could that ever reverse on its own? Because I had it like in 2010 in my feet, and then it reversed on its own. Like it did its. They washed it, but they didn't have me do anything.
Got it. So, I suppose we could,
I
but
was like crawling on the floor, like I couldn't walk
got it.
at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't do anything to treat your sugar or anything like that. Diet didn't change, nothing like that. Curious. So my thought then is there's something else driving that issue that may have resolved like an immune problem, like a virus
Yeah,
could
I
do that,
had
or
a rare blood disorder.
yeah. So there's something like that resolved that was causing the diabetic. So that may be true. Yeah. In most cases, if it's truly diabetic, then that never really goes away on its own,
That's
unless
why
there's
I
some
had
kind of
it in my
intervention.
hands, it's not. It's been almost 2 years now.
2 years.
Yeah.
It's really common. We see it in multiple years that something's been there. That's definitely an issue. Yeah. So again, we gotta figure out what's going on with all that to get to the bottom of it. But that's it's a big piece of it. So let's show the stuff, right? So who's our winner today?
One corner. Brenda.
Brenda.
Oh, Brenda.
You gonna get worked on today? Okay. Lovely. So when you did, how many seconds did we get with this?
Not very many.
Let's try again.
Five
She was at
minutes.
6 seconds with the left foot down.
6 with left foot in the screen.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll go with that as our baseline. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how steady did you feel with your eyes closed like this?
No.
Not just it was like a.
And it's some days it's not a problem,
Mm-hmm.
or some parts of the morning or night.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's all day long and all night.
Okay, so it ebbs and flows depending on who knows what.
And when I got up this morning, I thought, man, this is the best I've ever felt.
Today was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have to turn in paperwork at the Department of Transportation as a messenger. It just was too much to do that and try to do all this too, and I was worried about finding it. I just
Gotcha. Okay, come on up here.
How much should it apply to how old you are? 74, does that make a
Good
difference
question.
too?
Now, to be fair, right, you heal slower when you're older. But if it's only an age problem, everybody would reach age 74 and you have the same problem, or give or take, right? So it's not age related, because there's people that are 90 something and they don't have any of this stuff going on.
My husband's 85 and he's 65.
So it's not age related.
Mhm.
That's a big myth. Throw that one out. Not age related. Arthritis, that can be age related. Like there's so many things that are age related, but this is not one of them. Okay. All right, standing here for me. Let's face our nice crowd. And I'm going to check a couple other things too, because sometimes when we do these, we see the balance improve, and sometimes we see other things improve. So the bottom line is we're looking for some improvement in the nerve system function. Is that fair? All right, and so let's check to see how we're doing this one. We're going to check range of motion, and let the shoulder relax for me here. My fingers are chilly. Let that relax all the way.
Mine is.
What's that?
That's how mine is.
Yeah, they're chilly too. Let this go heavy, nice and loose. And we're going to see how it moves. And that's not bad, but it should light up and hit her in the ear. Okay, that'd be ideal. Any pain with that? No. Let's see how the other side does. Let that relax here. And that's a little worse on the left, huh? Any shoulder injuries I should know about?
A lot of car accidents.
Car accidents, things like that.
Problem was my daughter and her 5 kids live with us, and there were
Stress.
times
Oh,
she done some things to me that she shouldn't have done.
Gotcha. You can say no more on that one.
Brenda,
But stress is a major one, right? Yeah, it's big. So let me just check this one. So what do we do when we're choking? We go like this, right? That's universal for choking. What about this? Everybody's like headache, or I'm stressed out of my mind right now, right? So let's have you put your right hand on your forehead and let the shoulder relax here. What happened to her shoulder? A lot. It was at 90 degrees before, maybe 100. Now she's got almost full range. So walk around like that and you'll be fine. Okay, that's the joke. But what that tells us is what? Stress is related to the restriction in her body. That's a whole separate NET seminar, but I just want to show you the power of that. And maybe you've got a joint problem and maybe you don't. Right? Where the symptom is not necessarily where it's coming from. That's the bottom line there. So that may or may not improve what we're going to do as far as the treatment goes, but now what we're seeing is we do our screening, we look for that stuff. Is stress involved with how your body is functioning? Okay? So, we got balance in 6 seconds. She felt like a 1 out of 10 when you did the standing, or what number would you put on that?
Recently?
Yeah.
Probably about 5, because I think
Oh,
you
5,
did
so
better here than I did back there.
Okay, so it felt like a 5 when you had your eyes closed like that. Okay, so just some other things to measure with that. And then we got range of motion. We got left shoulder stuck, right one's left worse than right. And do we do any motor?
No.
Let's screen that while we're at it. So we're gonna just sit in the chair right here. Yep. And then I'm gonna check muscle strength in the legs. So when you're standing, balancing, whatever, you need to be able to use the muscles properly. We're gonna see if they're communicating to your brain properly. Okay. So we're going to do a couple of screenings here. So this is your stair climber. Use your knee to the ceiling up in my hand. Lift in my hand. Yeah, like that. Push up hard. And that's good. Good enough for now. This one here, lift that up strong. That one's a little mushier, right? But it doesn't fail. Bring your toes up for me like that. You're going to pull the heel backwards. Bend the knee back. Going that way.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll do this motion, kind of pull back like that. Yeah.
Like
Let it drop down more though. Toes up. Pull that heel back into my hand hard. Yeah. So she has a hard time even figuring out how to do the motion. Pull back hard. And there's no strength on that at all. It just moves right away. Other one here, toe up. Pull the heel backwards. And so that one's got more juice to it, right? Yeah. So we know the front of the legs are doing okay. The back of the legs, not so much. Makes sense? You need both when you're standing to have a solid foundation or when you're walking, right? So it just gives us something else to check along the way. Fair? So I'm going to now explain what we're doing to treat Brenda. We're going to give her a micro treatment here. We, meaning Dr. Strickland, is going to come up and work on her while we're explaining what's going on. And then we're going to retest our results. Fair? Okay, let's see how we do. So, has anybody used a push mower before? You've seen and then your hands get what? They get tingly or not after. So that's bad vibration, right? Bad vibes.
leaf blower.
Leaf blower, yeah. So you got anything with vibration to it, right? Can make your hand numb or tingly. So we're doing vibration at the right frequencies that restore nerve function and blood flow. And that's what her feet are on here. And then for other individuals, we'll use the one behind Elizabeth here. That's a standing one that really helps to improve balance as well. So vibration and balance training is part of the program. All right. Next, he's putting on some electrode pads. And who has heard of a TENS unit before?
Who's what?
TENS unit? It's okay if you haven't. TENS is 1950s technology. It sends a signal from the box to wherever you're putting the pads. So it might be for muscle stim or whatever, things like that. Okay? Yeah. So that does not work for neuropathy. I tried it. Okay? It doesn't work. This is different technology. It sends a signal out to the nerve, reads what's coming back, and then sends another signal out to actually normalize the nerve signal. So it literally rehabs the nerve signal in real time. Okay, every 4 milliseconds is changing the signal up. And so, bottom line is this rehabs the nerve signal. So if it's in the hands, you can apply it on the hands. If it's in the feet, typically we'll use a foot bath for this because the water gets more surface area and treats more of the nerve. So on the foot or the hand, you've got different nerves that contribute to the sensory on the different parts of the hand or the foot. So different parts of your low back or different parts of your neck go to the hands as far as the nerve root is concerned. Okay? So we're stimulating to rehab the nerve. The Cancer Treatment Centers of America prescribe this for their chemo-induced neuropathy patients. They understand that this rehabs the nerve even from chemo-induced nerve damage. And then the light you see is low-level laser. Okay? It is known to restore blood flow and recreate blood vessels, angiogenesis. It also helps with pain reduction. So whether you got numbness or pain or whatever symptoms are going on, this starts to restore blood flow and relieve the discomfort and the pain. And you can use it elsewhere. You got a shoulder problem, a neck problem, a back problem, what have you. You can use a laser on that area as well. For most, unless it's active cancer, there's some contraindications, but generally speaking, very safe and effective to use anywhere in the body. Okay? You don't want to stare into it, that'd be bad. Okay? But some common sense is all that it really is. We had another device that worked really well, but it took 30 minutes on each foot. So this takes, it runs for 1 minute, so we usually treat 3 to 5 minutes per foot. Who wants to save an hour plus a day? So we went with a faster technology. That's how quick this stuff is changing. It's amazing. And we do our best to keep up with what's working and what's cutting edge. So bottom line here, blood flow restoration and pain relief. And then the other prong is going to be nutrition that really works. Like you mentioned, Gene, buy 6 bottles of this and try the nerve, whatever, sort of, right? Yeah. So some of those work, I'm sure they do, and I don't see those people. But for a lot of people, that's only one leg of the stool. And you need 4 to have that's what got the results with Betty when we failed before. So it's nutrition, it's food at home, the health does not come from a bottle. It comes from what you're putting in your mouth day in and day out. And yes, you need dietary supplements, but the diet is the cornerstone of that. Does that make sense? Real food, and then you need to augment it with whatever may be deficient. But the supplements are not the main thing. But I will say, if you've got significant neuropathy, it's a critical piece to get the nerve to heal quicker. So that's not, in most cases, that's a required element in the healing process. Once you get it back, like Betty, she's not taking any nutrition for neuropathy right now. She doesn't need it. Once you get it healed up, it's where it needs to be.
So,
Yeah.
So, in addition to all the fresh fruits and vegetables,
Yep.
we have to take supplements.
Most people do. Yeah. Again, depending on how severe the damage is. If it's an acute stage, they may not need that as much. If If it's genetic, it's going to be definitely, you're going to need something to augment what your genes are missing or can't produce on your own. So it depends on the case.
Because I have a girlfriend, we're the same age. She just, well, I'm 71. Let's put it that way. So,
I won't tell anybody.
huh?
I won't tell anybody.
Well, there's nobody here I want to hit on, so that's why I can say my age.
Gotcha.
Okay.
She didn't believe I was 65.
So, she takes like a load of vitamins and nutrients and stuff, and she's bigger. She got big bust. She's got big hips. You know, she's never been married, don't have no kids, and nothing. But her skin is so buttery smooth, and you know, she's got lots more energy. And we do the same recreational stuff, but she just looks fabulous.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, like, in conjunction with this, and you said, well, the B12 or the B this or that, you know, like, what should I do in addition to getting this nerve stuff under control?
Yeah, I want to ask her too, because I mean, who doesn't want buttery skin, right? Like Doggy.
I mean, she looks fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
So that's a great point though, because we really do holistic wellness. So it's like, you know, you're here for neuropathy per se, but if there's other health goals you've got, we can help to address that as well, and we can feel well-rounded. And things that we don't specialize in, we've got doctors and a team who we refer to make sure you get the care that you want and that you're needing. So yeah, great question, great, really good. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So is this an ongoing treatment or can it can it
Yeah.
be like a short one?
I wish there was a simple answer to that question. Some people it's short, and some people it's lifelong.
Okay, so you do have people though that have.
Again, if it's genetic or if there's a degenerative part to their spine that just keeps that nerve, you know, damaged, you know, it's compressed, they're going to need some longer term care. So it's case by case different. Yeah, good question. I will say though that, like I said at the beginning, most people see dramatic changes in the first 90 days that we're doing this. But nerves can take as long as, 18 to 24 months to get full resolution for whatever your particular ability is for healing, right? Other things to that point is if there's a mechanical problem in the spine, right, that lower back feeds the nerves to the legs and feet, or the neck feeds the nerves to the hands. So if there's a compression there, we can decompress that naturally without the surgery, and actually save a lot of back surgeries and neck surgeries. So it literally regrows space in the spine to relieve the nerve, and then that nerve can heal and do its job again. And that's the machine in the back here you see Dr. Williams is pointing to. Yeah, so that's a really, really helpful tool. And then what Sandy's sitting on here, Brenda's on now, is pulse electromagnetic field. It's a magnet that turns on and off quickly. And like when your cell phone dies, what do? You charge it up. This literally charges your cell batteries so that you've got more energy to heal. And everything heals quicker with more energy, right? So that's a major tool. One other one is the beamer. It's not on this slide, but this will, in 8 minutes, improve your blood flow for 12 hours. And so that can be a very useful tool to get blood flow restored in a tissue that's been damaged.
Do we have to bring that home?
Depends on the person. I had one lady, she had 3 heart attacks in a span of 6 months. And I was like, you are buying one for your own home use because you need that day in and day out. Yeah, that's this one here. You don't really feel that one. Right. This one you will feel. But the other one you don't really feel anything happening at all. Yeah. But that depends on the case, right? What they need. And one other major helper, this has been a game changer, is soft wave.
No way.
You're looking at the foot. That's what got you?
Yes.
Yeah. So this activates your own stem cells. You've heard of stem cell injections, things like this. This works with your body's own natural stem cells. I'm seeing all the like gaped mouths. What do you tell me? What's going on? What are you seeing? What are you noticing?
What's wrong with the foot on that one?
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dying.
it's dying. Exactly.
That's why the mouth is open.
Yeah, it's dying.
And that's what y'all did to restore it?
Now, to be fair, this was my colleague's photo. We've seen ones that are not as bad, but the same idea. How many treatments between this and this? There's a,
Yeah, it's because of that.
there's a, yeah,
Oh my God.
one session.
No.
One.
Of this here?
Oh, the software is in the other room back here. It's like right behind
One
you.
session.
One session.
And that's what they would, the necrotizing tissue, they would amputate.
He was on the fast track to amputation.
Yeah.
One session.
One. And you can see, like, he's okay here, but that foot's a train wreck. So now, does it go back? Yeah, until it fully heals. But this is common. We see this a lot. Like, Autumn's not here. She runs up for us, and she sees a lot of that kind of stuff. Like, going like, oh, there's Autumn. There you are. There's Autumn in the back. And so, yeah, she's like, anyway, bottom line there is 300% increase in blood flow.
Oh my gosh.
Pain is common to see 20 to 50% reduction in one session.
Sign me up.
That's that over there, right?
That is actually in the room behind you,
You said that.
but you can't really see it back there. But you're welcome to before you go. Pop in there and take a look. It looks like that. Okay. Knees, shoulders, elbows, any joint back problems,
If it is, yeah, then you need to.
things like that.
I know. That's my.
Crazy, right?
That's the diabetes.
Yeah.
I love donuts.
Right? Who doesn't like donuts?
Don't we all?
Yeah.
They don't love us.
So breathing is another free one that is everybody does all the time anyway. So let's teach you how to breathe. And I had a patient do this. She was on her feet all day long for her job. In between the seminar when she learned it and when she came in for evaluation, she did it like we told her every waking hour for 5 to 10 reps. And she started noticing a difference in her feet just in a week's time. So breathing goes like this. But before you do that, in your bag, usually on the water bottle is a bracelet. Can we get one for Brenda?
I drank all my water.
Got one for Brenda, please? Perfect. That is your breathing reminder. Because if you're like me, you need a little reminder to get, right? It also serves as your, like, I'm going to do something different. I'm making a change. Whatever it's going to be, you're going, I am going to change. I am worth it, and I am going to make a change in my health. So this is your declaration of going, let's do something different and make a change, right? Because insurance is not coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. You're going to have to put in the work and the effort and the investment in your own health, your own legacy. And that's why we're Legacy Health, because we're here to help you live your legacy now and not like just pass on some money to the next generation or something like that. So that's what we're about. So here's how you breathe. Let's do that together. So it's going to inhale for 4, hold it for 4, exhale for 6 with a hum, hold it out for 2 and repeat. We'll do 3 rounds together. But ideally you're doing it 5 to 10 times every waking hour to really get a great benefit. This induces what's called nitric oxide, which dilates your blood vessels. Okay, here we go, breathing in. Hold it. Good. Let's hear that breathing in. Hold. One more time in. The hum activates your relaxation nerve system. It's a big part of that. So use that. That is in your handouts. Okay? Practice that. So let's see how we did here. Before we do that, I mentioned Leroy briefly. He was diabetic, and he would not give up Turkey Hill iced tea. And he still made headway, but he didn't like win like a lot of our other patients do, but he still got a lot of good results. And so I just mentioned that because you don't have to be perfect on this to win. And Elsie would drive over an hour to get here for appointments and did amazing well, got her balance back and her whole life back. So those stories like that all day long. But let's check your balance again. You ready, Brenda? Mm-hmm. All right. I'll take it back for you for a second. Put that on your chair. And come on up here. Oh, before we do, fake you out. I'm going to take that muscle in your legs before we lose that opportunity. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's have you raise your knee up to the ceiling again. Does that feel different to you?
Mm-hmm.
A little sturdier, huh?
Uh-huh.
Bring your toe up, please, and pull the heel back. And that one's good. Toe up for me here. Pull this heel back. That one's also sturdier too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're seeing muscle change already. With that, how long does that last? I don't know yet, but we need some kind of improvement, right? So if you stand up, and again, I can help you here. Yeah, good. And then go ahead and stand here for me. Let's see about the range of motion. Rest the shoulders for me here, let them relax, good. And let this relax all the way. Any change with that? Not the same on that side, not a big change. Let this side relax. So that's a little better, right? Even without the hand, right? Yeah, so we can see.
Got a pain.
Got a pain in that one. So there's some other things, we know the stress is involved there, but definitely improvement even without the hand on the forehead. So it doesn't mean stress is gone, it just means we changed some function in her nervous system and got some improvement with that. So then the last would be actually checking your balance. So let's try that again. So feet together, hands on your hips. Yep, and when you're ready, close your eyes. We'll check you for 10 seconds here. You ready? Okay, close them. And that's 10. Open your eyes. Did that feel different than before?
Yeah. A lot better.
A lot better. So say more about that. What'd you notice now that you didn't?
Normally I'd be opening my eyes and trying to catch.
Okay.
Usually if I get up from the chair or go and I have to hold, have something there just in case. And, it's better.
That felt better.
It felt better.
Cool. Do you want to try the one leg up like that?
Okay.
Let's give that a whirl. Hands on the hips when you're ready. Eyes open. And let's see if we get more than 6 seconds. And 3, 2, 1. And when you're ready, step on the strongest leg.
It's longer than I did do.
That was 10. Yeah, you're like right 9.5, 10 seconds on that. That's pretty amazing, right? Yeah, seriously, give her a hand. Yeah.
That machine or the chair?
What's that?
It's more from the machine.
So it could be a combination of things, right? So your nerves they need stimulus, they need oxygen, and they need nutrients. Those are the 3 main things for nerves to actually start to repair and do their job. If you're doing a workout, right, and you stop breathing, can you do more or less? Yes. Right, same idea. So if you're eating a good meal before you work out, you do better in recovery and everything else. So it's a combination of things that make the change. So we gave your nervous system kind of a miniature snack, if you will, of all the different elements, but we didn't do nutrition, we didn't do, right, all these other things we could do. But you can start to see the power of doing this day in and day out for 90 days. Right? The nerve has no chance but to heal up now. Isn't that pretty fun? So if we do this once and stop, it's like going to the gym once and stopping. You have to do it regularly and repeat. That's why we say being an active participant is an important element. Okay? Yeah. So does that help you understand what's going on there? Awesome. Brendan, thanks for playing. You may have a seat. And here again. Was that helpful to see what's going on? And again, you may or may not need all those elements. Just depends on what the case is and what we need to do to get better. And we have different options depending on what the case is. So we can work on all that kind of stuff, right? So, basically, we've shown you a way. Let me ask you this question. Has any other doctor been able to show you immediate results with what they're doing? In a natural way. Obviously, you get an injection or whatever, like you might feel better almost right away, depending on what the scenario is. But as far as like treating the nerves, getting a response like that, anybody seen that before?
No, I haven't had my nerves treated.
Right, and not checked or treated or, yeah. So I love that part. We get to see in real time, did we win or not? And so that's pretty cool. So now we've shown you a way that works, showed you all the stuff involved with it, and now you got a choice, basically, keep doing what you're doing or try something new, right? So common questions we get. How do I know if I qualify? Well, we need to do an assessment, figure out what's going on, what's causing it, and figure out how bad it is, and then we can go, can we help you or not? And really doing our assessment will be the next step as far as a relationship with us is concerned. Another one would be maybe you're doing lab tests with your provider now, or like you can do some basic things, but if they're not versed in neuropathy, then they may or may not be checking what needs to be checked. But you need some kind of assessment to figure out where you are now, what's baseline look like, right? How long does it usually take? The assessment's about an hour long, hour and a half. And for nerve healing, we mentioned it could take 18 to 24 months, depending on how severe it is. Some people, if it's acute, it's a lot shorter than that. But we commonly see great results for the cases we can help within the first 90 days. Does my insurance cover this? What do you think?
Probably not.
Yeah, what do they cover, right? We talked about that a bit. All the stuff that doesn't work, basically. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. Medicare writes the guidelines for this, and I get the question, so Audrey, put that in your handout as well. And they say that a treatment plan designed to improve your quality of life and to maintain health, or that sort of language I'm paraphrasing, but they deem that as not medically necessary.
So even if it's like a diabetic neuropathy?
Yeah, even diabetic neuropathy. Now, they will give you all the meds you need for your diabetes management, but they're not reversing your neuropathy. They're not reversing your diabetes. They're managing your blood sugar that way.
That
Right.
costs a lot more to
It's
do
not
that.
And it's right. Yeah, it costs not just the financial cost, right? It's the day in and day out. I'm mortgaging $5 of my energy here, and I'm mortgaging $5 of my sleep there, and right. So like that adds up in that mental headspace, maybe more than the financial too. So the cost, don't just be thinking about dollars and cents, because that's where a lot of people go off the rails and they miss the bigger picture of the impact that it has on their life and their quality of life, and how that quality of life impacts their circle of influence. Like my dad, when he fell, that impacted the entire family, right? It wasn't just him and his suffering. So that's what you have to keep in mind with this. What's the true cost? But no, insurance is not going to cover this. Most people are going to have out of pocket substantially. Some of the treatments may have some reimbursement, but it's going to be fairly minimal. Okay, just so you're aware of that, just being transparent up front.
So even if we were referred to you by our primary care physician?
Again, there's going to be outlier, elements here and there. Very, very few people that I've seen over the last 7 years get substantial coverage. So I'm just telling you up front, it's very, very, it's out of pocket. There will be an out of pocket for most people, and most of it's out of pocket is the other thing I want to tell you too.
Okay, do I need to mortgage my home?
That I do not know. I'm not a banker. I'm not in real estate.
So
I can't help you with that. Yeah.
I know I read your thing, like you started with chiropractic work.
Right.
So does your office fall under chiropractic work, or is it a different code? Because
It depends. If we're working with diabetes and we don't necessarily need to adjust the spine, then it's not chiropractic work. So we can't bill a chiropractic code when we're doing something metabolic. Yeah, and so that's the rub that's the thing. We're going to do it legally. We're not going to be, and where we can support you with other modalities that insurance might reimburse you for, cool. I'm all for that. You need to be aware too, we're out of network. We're not, we work with our patients. We do not work for an insurance code that tells us what we can and can't do. We are leaving that broken healthcare system and obviously putting more health and care in healthcare. Okay, so we're not part of that broken system. That's a great question. Where we can't get help, we want to, but we're not going to change what we're doing to help people that actually wins to fit into their whatever. Does that make sense?
So
It
then
sucks,
my
but
next
that's the way it is.
question-
Yeah.
My next question would be, do you take care credit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you ask?
Care credit.
Care Credit is a finance company that will help people finance their medical health care, things like that. So we've got over, I don't know, 6 different options or more for those kind of things to find a way to make it available to people. Yeah. So, and I'll just tell you, like, what is an investment in this cost? Just being transparent with all that too. If we can't, again, here's the thing. We're not going to waste your time. If we can't help you, I'm not going to blow smoke and say we can't. If we can't help you, know that my confidence, my experience is behind all this, and we're going to do the very best we can to get you the goals back that you can and whatever you can afford. We're not going to, like, does that make sense? Like, we're here to truly help and not like, I can't stand when you go somewhere and they sell you more than you want to be. So, like, no, this is healthcare. What are your goals? What do you want back? And can we help you do that realistically or not?
He said he can't stand it when they sell you more than you need.
Oh.
Yeah, like that's
the
just
supplements
not
that just
human, right? We're here to be real and tell you what, like, goodness. Anyway, so don't get me started on that nonsense. I will tell you up front though, commonly the care plans are going to start, and so there's 4 stages to this. There's acute phase, then there's stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, like they do for cancer, right? So stage 1 is acute, and that's going to range usually starting around $3,000, and up if you're in stage 4, it's going to be, north of $14,000, $16,000. Okay, now that's for a whole enchilada stuff. All right,
That you were talking about your fees?
that would be the case fees for depending on where you're at in that continuum. That boils down to, we can get usually around $200 to $300 a month, $200 to $400 a month, depending on what financing options you need, things like that. Okay, so just being transparent with what that looks like, and hopefully you can appreciate that. Like, we're not trying to, it's all right there, right? Questions on any of that?
Yeah, the lights and things, do we purchase them and they go home with us so we can do continue
So
with that?
Everything you would need, including the equipment,
Is included
supplements, visits, whatever that therapies, whatever you would need is in that case fee.
Okay.
So we don't nickel and dime for this, that, and the other thing. We go, what do you need? What are your goals? Let's have that conversation. And then what are the options for what that looks like?
Okay.
Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And then you get all the doctor supervision you need in that whole time. And typically we follow for at least a year. It's not just like that 30 or that 90-day thing. We're watching things for a while.
So like once a week, a couple times a week to start?
Again, depends on the case. We have some people that do it all at home. I had a patient near Pittsburgh, during the pandemic, and they couldn't, and so we manage them from home. So there's options like that too. Depends on what you need and what's available. So we have all those conversations, but I would say commonly, weekly for 12 weeks is pretty common, but it could be more or less than that depending on what's going on and what your needs are. Okay. Again, you got your time wasted, been taken advantage of. I promise you that will not happen here. Okay. My goal is to get you into the right hands. If we can help you, we're going to do everything we possibly can to make that a win. If we can't, I don't want that as much as you don't want that, right? Our reputation is way too valuable, and your health is way too valuable to let that, try to treat something we're not specializing in. Is that fair? So that's my promise to you. So here's the opportunity that we have put together for you for being here today and spending some time with us. First of all, we have it in 2 parts. You're going to have a discovery day and then a report day. So day 1 is figuring out what's going on and can we help. So the first step is a consult, and we go, what are your health history? What are your struggles? What are your goals? And we talk about that. And then we do our comprehensive neurological assessment, all your vitals, basic things like that, balancing coordination testing. We have a force plate. We actually measure your balance and your fall risk. And then we do our muscle strength testing like we did for Brenda. We'll see which muscles are working, which ones are not. We go more comprehensive into that. and we do our sensory exam, which we didn't really do for her, but that's figuring out your nerve pathways from either hands or feet, and are those firing properly to the brain, what you're able to feel and not feel. There's no computer or test out there that can tell you what you feel, right? That's your own perception. Everybody's pain levels are different, right? So mine are, I'm bad. I get a man cold, and it's bad news, right? So everybody's pain levels are different.
So if we've had like an EMG,
yeah,
would you want that?
Yeah, that's great information. Any imaging, any sort of testing you've had is really helpful to know for sure. But the EMG only lets you know is the nerve firing down to the motor. It doesn't tell you sensory back.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a one-way street down, it's a one-way street back.
You showed us where the red was, what, the blood?
Yeah, the blood flow. Exactly. That's part of this too.
That's part of that.
That'll be the next. So this is our neuro exam, and then we have our diagnostics. Okay, so we do the thermal scan. What are the good colors?
White and red.
Yeah, white and red. Okay, we can do hands as well. And we do a posture analysis. Some people have one foot that's rolled in and you've sprained an ankle, or you've gotten, maybe you're born with flat feet, or whatever has happened in your life. And we've got different arch heights that'll put pressure on the nerves in the lower back and or the neck. If you have hand issues, that might be coming from the foundation. You're walking these problems in. And so we look to see what's that doing. Then we do our microcirculation testing, which looks like a pulse ox on your finger. If you ever had that, just you use your finger. And in about 5 minutes, we get a report that lets us know what the microcirculation is doing. Your NDs are looking for blood flow in the major arteries, and they'll feel the dorsal pedal on your foot and say, your blood flow is fine. In most cases. But what's going on is they're missing the microcirculation, and that's what's feeding the nerve. So we need to check that out. Your MDs will see it at type 5. So if we're a type 5 or worse, I'm automatically referring you to cardiology to make sure that gets checked and make sure you're okay with that. We can see several heart attacks doing this kind of stuff with the screening. With the right diet and nutrition supplements, you can literally reverse this stuff. Okay, so we can get it better is the other cool thing. Question?
Like this just started maybe in a week or so. Like right along here, it always feels like something is
squeezing.
Yeah, squeezing.
Okay.
Just irritation.
Yeah.
Almost painful.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure whether. I guess in the advanced diagnosis.
Yeah, we need to see, is this blood flow related? Is this nerve related? Is it coming from the neck? Is it coming from?
It feels like.
That's what we need. That's what I mean, though, is like, that's what the assessment lets us know is how many elements are we dealing with, and what do we really need to do to get it better?
So that would be in one of the.
Right. That's going to be more in the mechanical neurological assessment to see where is the nerve trap in that arm, or is blood flow a problem? So look at all these things together. Is your posture off that's actually kicking the nerve that's making that weak over? So we can look at all those things.
Okay.
Yeah, great question. So that's all the diagnostics on one screen. And then we get you, that would be day 1. And then I get together with the team and go, can we help this person get their goals back? Is this realistic? What's it going to take? And we put that plan together. And then the next time you come in, and we usually recommend you have somebody with you that does helps you with your healthcare decisions, whether it's a friend or family member, because both days, on your exam day and on your report day, because you get way more value when somebody else can ask questions, and you got a team member that's got your back, and you can have those conversations. We make those decisions as a team. Okay, so we always recommend that with your partner in health. You get a graph like this. Are you in acute, moderate, severe, or permanent nerve damage? And we'll let you know where you're at on that scale. That's also going to tell us roughly time frames for healing. And that's also going to dictate what we need to do in terms of getting you better for therapies and what's involved with that. Okay. So then we get you your customized care plan, and we go over your financial options and go through that process with you. Okay. Questions on that? So everything here, we add it all up. for both days is $875. Okay. Now I understand that insurance
Within 2 days?
This would be 2 visits.
Oh, 2
For both visits, all the diagnostics, our time outside of office hours to put together the plan, all that's included in this. And that's what it would, if you add it all up, that's the value that is for both of those days. Okay? I do know that people that take action are the ones that win. Okay? So to support you in that, we're going to give you a treatment as well. That's usually on day 2 when we know that it's the right fit. And then also 25 anti-inflammatory foods so you can start winning with neuropathy right now. Okay? So those are bonuses you get for being here today and taking action. So you add all that together, it's $945 for the total value of everything, including the bonuses. Again, because insurance I know is not going to cover this exam for you, we're doing all of this for $197. $197. Let us know, can we help you? How bad is it? What are your options? Brenda did our one-on-one experience today, so we're going to apply what you paid to that. Subtract that from the $197, you pay the balance, and then we can do the rest of the assessments. Okay? So here's how you take advantage of that. Very simple. On the back window, we've got some sticky notes with times and dates on them. You grab the one that works for you. Take that to the front. We'll collect the $197, get all the information you need to get started, and we'll get you the recipes emailed to you, like get that whole ball rolling and start getting you better. Can we win with this thing or not? So that's simple. We only got a couple spots available. We can, we've got referrals and other people coming in. We can't do this for everybody. But I will say first come, first serve on that one. For you at home as well, if you text, keep it simple. Text, schedule me. Let's do that. Text schedule me to 717-285-0001. Schedule me at 717-285-0001. And we can see if there are still appointment times available for you.
Okay, can you say it slowly?
The phone number?
Yeah.
Sure. 717-285-0001.
Okay.
And that's the office number.
Okay.
And if it's during business hours, we'll give you a call back shortly. If it's after, then it'll be the next day. And that'll get you rolling. Any questions on how to take advantage of that today?
So the $197 we pay today, and we get on the board and get a date.
Yep.
Pick a date.
Grab a sticker.
So what's the call you for scheduling?
That's if you're at home and you're not here today.
Oh.
Yeah, so we got a couple appointments for this.
Forgetting
They're
that.
FaceTime.
Yeah,
We got on.
they're on Facebook Live, so you don't worry about them.
Okay.
But you guys are first come, first serve. So if you can grab one that works for you, go for it. If not, then we'll open that up to whoever else is at home. Okay?
Okay.
I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here today. Did you learn something valuable?
Yeah.
Great. That my job is done. Love you all and truly wish the very best for you. And let's go work through this out, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks for being here today.
Okay. Let me pick out my.
There's my go picture.
Where'd I pick out my?
You said
It's
eight
some
what?
these appointments are the ones that are left available.
Oh, for the phone number?
Yeah.
717. No, it's on the card. You got a card? Yeah.
Today,
The same number you called to get in here?
Oh, okay, that's the one.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Or if you find an appointment here, you want, grab this one because let's do that. Okay? Yeah, do that. Thanks, everybody.
oh, so you need apple